Hey, Teddy K here for the Best Buy blog, and in this video we are taking a look at the OnePlus 15. OnePlus's latest flagship phone, available now at Best Buy, and one that is going to give you plenty of battery to work with. The OnePlus 15 is the successor to the OnePlus 13. OnePlus skipped number 14 for cultural reasons. The main thing here, though, is that this is a phone that is quite different from its predecessor in ways that aren't always good, but in some cases at least follow the right path in other respects. Now, the main thing here that you need to know is that this is all around as an Android phone. This is a solid device. And in actually in some key ways, it is better than the competitors that you're used to here from Google and Samsung in particular. I'm going to lay out how that works, but at the same time, I'm also going to point out some stark choices that you're going to have to make. Okay, let's start with the design. So generally, we have a similar panel here. So this is a very similar display, 6.78 inches. It's very bright, very vibrant. It is a lower resolution. Now, if you notice on paper, it is lower resolution than before, and that's because of the 165 hertz refresh rate that OnePlus put in here. That is not really going to matter to you if you're not into gaming. So it's a mobile gaming feature, and the reason why there is a low resolution here is because a 165 hertz panel or refresh rate it just doesn't exist with a panel that is the same resolution as the OnePlus 13. So here's what you get. On the back is where things really change. Compared to what OnePlus has been doing the last few years, this is a totally different device. Gone is that circular camera module, and you get something that's, a little more, well, dare I say, a little more iPhone-like. But apart from that, you do get a lot to work with. There is plenty of power in here. Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 processor. It's always nice. Plenty of RAM and storage. You do have a couple configurations to choose from there, but again, it's 256 gigs is the base, and 12 gigs of RAM is the base, but you'll find a 16 and 512 as well if you want to go with that. And very fast charging, huge battery, 7,300 milliamps. We're going to talk about that later on. But yeah, in terms of the internals here, there's not a lot to complain about as far as what's available. So there's no MagSafe built into the phone. This is actually a disappointment for me. I was hoping that after introducing it last year with cases on the device, you have to do the same thing in this case as well. So if you get a case that has MagSafe built in, you can take advantage of that as well. Wireless charging, of course, still works. And if you get the right charger, you'll get faster wireless charging than any other phone that's available here. One of the biggest selling points for me is Oxygen OS. This is the overlay that OnePlus has over Android, and to me, it's one of the best there is. Primarily because it's slick, it's clean, and it kind of melds with what Android offers, if that makes sense. So basically what you have is a combination of just software that feels kind of fluid. It's not that there's a super special feature or something that is overtly unique, although there are a couple things. When I point out the things that are or feel different, it is like the smart sidebar, for example. So when you pull out from the side, you get a menu that you can utilize. Now that's great for shortcutting to certain apps, but the file dock is nice too, where you can drag and drop anything. So this could be a photo, a document, copied text that you want to paste somewhere else, for example. Anything that can fit in there, you just drag it over, and then you can drop it in, and then drag it out and drop it in somewhere else after. The other thing too is that it's fairly easy to move apps around. So if you want to go into split screen mode, you can do that, and you can use an app as a floating window, which is very cool. If you don't want to commit fully to the app, but you need to do something very quickly, you can do that. It's very simple to do. All you got to do is just swipe up and pick an app that you want to do this with, tap that 3-button menu, and then from there you decide what you want to do. This one could go either way. So the plus key, this is new. So there's a plus key on the side that actually replaces the alert slider that OnePlus has had for so many years. And while you can still use it to silence or vibrate or to ring, turn on the ringer for your phone, you can use it for other things. One of the things that OnePlus kind of is hoping that you would use it for is MindSpace. This is an AI feature that basically allows you to take screenshots or any content that you want and sort of pull it together into a space. And from there, you can use Gemini to access it. You can just ask for something that you want specifically from it. So it could be a person, a place, a thing, a document, something within that document. There could be emails that are in there, copied and pasted text. All that stuff would be searchable from Gemini through that. We have seen something similar to this in the Nothing Phone 3. That was called Nothing Essentials in that device. This is kind of a similar concept in this regard. Now, you don't have to commit to it. It's not something you have to use, but as a Mind Assistant, it's there as a way to help you stay organized, or at least to give you a space that you can use to kind of put things together. So again, any screen size will do. Now, about the gaming side, this is clearly a device built for that. Initially, when it launched, there were some thermal issues that were coming out where the phone was getting very, very hot because that had a lot to do actually with the Qualcomm chip. That has largely been fixed. I wouldn't say fully, but it has largely been fixed as of this review, in that you're not going to find it getting as hot or as warming up as quickly. Now, this is totally contingent on the game that you're playing and the settings that you're playing it with. So I just want to add that caveat, because your experience might be different from someone else's depending on what you're playing and how you're playing it. The camera is where, this is what gives me pause with this device, because I feel like OnePlus really didn't follow through and didn't follow up with what it did with the OnePlus 13. Now, there's a couple reasons for that. First is that the image sensors on the back of all the cameras, all three cameras on the back, are using smaller image sensors than before. That is going to lead to different types of images. The second thing is that Hasselblad, which was the imaging company, the storied imaging company that OnePlus had partnered with for at least a few years making their phones, they're gone now. So no more partnership, no more collaboration, which means that all the image processing is in-house with OnePlus. They call it the Detail Max engine. The images are going to come out differently, and they do come out a bit soft, a bit muted. They do need a little more editing, actually in some cases quite a bit more editing than they did before. So I think you'll find that there will be hit or miss results based on what you're shooting. I do recommend that you get used to the editing tools that are available. There are AI ones as well, which are also hit or miss. They are cloud-based. You will need a data connection or Wi-Fi to use those, not the regular ones. The regular ones will work just fine offline. Video is kind of a similar case, but I find actually OnePlus put a little more emphasis on video this time. So there's a little more you can do in this case, and the results aren't bad. So all in all, this is a pretty decent camera. It just needs more TLC on your end to get more out of it. And it's one reason why I'm a little, sort of torn about this device, because I feel like it could have been so much more had it just followed what the OnePlus 13 did. The crown jewel for this device is battery life. 7,300 milliamps is huge by any standard, and especially in North America. Very, very big. But it's not just how long it lasts, which, by the way, you might get into 2 days with moderate usage. Now, if it's heavier, obviously you'll have to recharge faster, but even when you do have to recharge, just plug it into the charger that comes in the box, and you're full in about 30 minutes. Well, close to full. It'll probably be about 40 minutes from 0 to 100, but 0 to 80, less than 30 minutes. That's incredible. And it gets you up and running very, very quickly in no time. Even if you forgot to charge overnight while you slept, you can just plug it in while you're getting ready to go to work or to go somewhere, and you're pretty much good to go for the day. And that's my review of the OnePlus 15, available at Best Buy now. You can check out more about it by clicking that link below. For the Best Buy blog, I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.